It's been 6 months. 6 months of waiting, searching, hoping. I never thought life would take such a sharp turn. One day, everything seemed fine, steady job, steady life, and then suddenly, gone. No warning, no time to prepare. Just, gone. 6 months. Time moves strangely when you're adrift. Like you're stuck in the gap between where you were and where you want to be, but it's impossible to move forward. You always hear about layoffs happening to other people. It's like a distant storm you think will never hit you. Until it does. And when it does, it leaves behind this hollow feeling, this uncertainty that settles in your chest and refuses to leave. At first, I told myself it was just temporary, just a blip on the radar. But as the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, it became harder to believe that. It's not just the paycheck you lose. It's the feeling of having a place in the world. When I was working, I knew where I fit. I had a title, a role, a routine. But when that's gone, you start to question everything. Who am I without this? What do I do now? It's strange how the world keeps moving even when you feel like yours has stopped. Every day, I'd send out more resumes, write more cover letters, tweak the same lines, hoping they'd stand out to someone, somewhere. But the silence? That's what eats away at you. The rejections sting, sure, but the worst is when they don't respond at all. It's like you don't even exist. I remember the first time I got a rejection. It was polite, formal, almost apologetic. "We regret to inform you." That phrase has become so familiar now, it's almost like a song I can't get out of my head. The first time, it hurt. The 10th time, it started to feel like a pattern. The 30th, that's when the doubt really started to sink in. Maybe it's me, I'd think. Maybe I'm not good enough anymore. And that's the dangerous part. The self-doubt. It creeps in quietly, like fog on an early morning. You don't notice it at first, but suddenly it's everywhere. You start questioning everything about yourself, your skills, your experience, even your worth. Each rejection chips away a little more. It's not just the job you lose. It's the routine, the purpose. You wake up, and for the first time in years, there's no place to go. No meeting to rush to. No task waiting for you. The structure that held your days together crumbles. And when that happens, you start to drift. I see them, all these people with their lives intact, their routines. I used to be one of them. The morning rush, the endless to-do lists. I miss it now. Funny, right? When you are in the thick of it, you complain about the grind. The emails, the meetings, the constant pressure to deliver. But when it's gone, all you want is that stability back. That sense of belonging to something bigger than yourself. People around me, they try to be supportive. They tell me things like, "It's just a matter of time," or "You'll land on your feet soon." I know they mean well, but it feels empty. They don't understand what it's like to send out dozens of applications and hear nothing in return. To sit at home day after day, wondering when, or if, something will change. I tried keeping myself busy at first. Anything to avoid sitting alone with my thoughts. It worked for a while. I'd fill my days with small projects, side gigs, anything to feel productive. But then, the questions started creeping in. Why you? What did you do wrong? What if no one wants you back? And those questions, they don't have easy answers. Here, surrounded by so much life, I feel more alone than ever. Everyone's moving forward, and I'm stuck. It's like the world kept spinning, but I was left behind. Every day that passes, I feel further from the person I used to be, the life I used to know. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever get it back. You'd think it'd get easier, but every interview that doesn't work out feels heavier than the last. The first few rejections? You shake them off. You tell yourself it's just part of the process. But by the 20th, the 30th rejection, you start to wonder if you're just fooling yourself. Maybe the world's moved on, and there's no place left for me. I keep writing because it's the one thing that clears my mind. Out here on the road, I don't have to think about applications or interviews. I don't have to pretend I'm fine when I'm not. It's just me, the bike, and the road. It's the one place I feel free. And right now, freedom feels like something I can't find anywhere else. Freedom is a funny word. When I had my job, I thought freedom meant having the weekends off, or taking a vacation once a year. But now I see it differently. Freedom is having control over your life, your choices. And when you are unemployed, that sense of control slips away. You're at the mercy of decisions made in rooms you are not even in. And that's the hardest part for me, feeling like I'm not in control. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, networking, applying, staying positive, but none of it feels like enough. None of it guarantees anything. It's like I'm floating in limbo, waiting for something to pull me out. I've had interviews, you know. Some went well, or at least I thought they did. But then, the emails come. We regret to inform you, or worse, nothing at all. And every time, it's like I have to pick myself back up from the ground. Again and again. I tell myself I'm resilient, that I'll get through this. But some days, it's hard to believe. You start to question yourself. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't have what they're looking for. That self-doubt, it's like this constant weight pressing down. But you can't show it. Not to friends, not to family. You have to keep pretending you're okay, even when you're not. It's strange. There's something about watching the sunset over the city that makes me feel small. Like, no matter what's going on with me, the world is going to keep turning, day will keep turning to night, and life will move forward whether I find my place in it again or not. I wonder if anyone else feels this way. Like they've been forgotten by the world. Sometimes I sit here, watching the skyline, and imagine what's happening in all those buildings. People working late, grabbing drinks with co-workers, making plans for tomorrow. For most people, the day ends and they're already thinking about what comes next. For me, tomorrow is just another blank slate. Another day with no guarantees. No plans. No promises. And that's terrifying. I always thought I'd have a plan, a direction, a clear path forward. But now, it's like I'm walking through fog, and I can't see more than a few steps ahead. Night is when it's the hardest. During the day, you can keep yourself busy, send out more applications, scroll through job boards, tell yourself you're being productive. But at night, it's quiet. Too quiet. And that's when the thoughts come flooding in. What if this goes on for another month? Another 6 months? How long before I lose more than just a job? How long before I start losing myself? The night has a way of amplifying everything. The silence feels louder, the doubts feel heavier. It's like all the worries I push aside during the day come creeping back in when the sun goes down. And there's nowhere to run from them. No distractions, no noise, just me and my thoughts. I've tried everything to quiet the noise in my head. Meditation, working out, even journaling, but nothing sticks. The thoughts are always there, lurking, waiting for the moment I let my guard down. And the worst part, I can't share this with anyone. Not really. I think that's what people don't understand about unemployment. It's not just about losing a paycheck. It's losing a part of yourself. The part that felt useful, that felt like it contributed something to the world. And when you lose that, you start to feel invisible. Like you don't matter as much anymore. I keep telling myself this is just temporary. That I'll get back on my feet soon. But 6 months feels like a long time when you are stuck in this limbo. I've applied to more jobs than I can count. Each one feels like throwing a message in a bottle out into the ocean, hoping someone, somewhere, will find it. But most of the time, it feels like the ocean just swallows it whole. Sometimes I wonder if the world even notices people like me, the ones who've fallen through the cracks. We're still here, still trying, still fighting to get back on our feet. But it's like we've become invisible, lost in the noise of everyone else's lives moving forward. I pull over here sometimes, just to breathe. There's something calming about sitting in a quiet park at night. No expectations, no pressure. Just stillness. It's one of the few places I don't feel like I'm failing at something. Funny how in a city this big, it's possible to feel completely alone. There's something about the quiet of a park at night that lets me think more clearly, though. It's like, out here, there's no one to impress. No interviews to ace, no deadlines to meet. Just silence. And for a moment, I can forget about everything else. But even in this calm, the questions are always there. What if this doesn't end? What if this is all there is? It's hard to imagine what's next when every door you've knocked on stays closed. And after a while, you stop knocking as loudly. I ride along this river sometimes, just to think. There's something about the water that helps me clear my head. It's like the constant movement of the river reminds me that life keeps flowing, even when I feel stuck. But sometimes, that's a hard thing to accept. I think back to who I was 6 months ago. Confident, sure of my place in the world. I had a plan. I had a direction. I didn't question myself as much. But now I feel like I'm drifting. Like the person I was is slipping away, little by little, with each rejection, each unanswered email. And I wonder, how do I get that person back? Sometimes I tell myself that this is just a chapter. That this struggle is part of the story, and one day, I'll look back on it and realize it made me stronger. But right now, it's hard to see it that way. Right now, it just feels like I'm treading water, hoping I don't drown. I remember what it felt like to wake up with purpose. To know where I was going, what I was working toward. I had meetings to attend, projects to lead, people relying on me. There was a sense of importance in that. A sense of being needed. Now I wake up to nothing. Just an empty inbox and a long day ahead. Back then, I thought the stress of the job was the hardest part. The long hours, the pressure to perform. I never realized how much I would miss it. How much I would miss feeling like I was part of something bigger. Now, all I have are memories of what used to be. And those memories, they feel like a different lifetime. As I ride through the night, I wonder what's waiting for me on the other side of this. Will I find a new job? A new purpose? Or will I keep drifting, searching for something I can't seem to grasp? But somewhere deep down, I know. I have to keep moving. Keep riding. Because the only thing worse than the uncertainty is giving up. And maybe that's what this ride is teaching me. That even when everything feels out of control, I can still choose to keep going. To keep moving forward, even when the road ahead is unclear. Because no matter how long this takes, no matter how many rejections I face, I'm still here. I'm still writing. And that has to count for something. I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I don't know if the next email I send will finally be the one that changes everything. But for now, I'll keep writing. I'll keep pushing forward, even if it feels like I'm moving through darkness. Because somewhere out there, there has to be light. And I have to believe that I'll find it. And maybe, just maybe, this is all part of the journey. Maybe the struggle isn't the end, but just a bend in the road. And as long as I keep writing, there's still hope. There's still a chance that things will turn around. So, I'll keep going. One more mile. One more day. Because that's all I can do.